If you're watching this video, you're either in the credit card game or you're intrigued by it and you think, well, I'd like to get some cash back or maybe be able to take some trips that I otherwise couldn't afford. In other words, you're interested in perhaps getting into credit cards. Now, the thing about credit cards is that there are so many different types. There are cards with no annual fee. There are cards with a $900 annual fee. There are cards that give cash back. There are cards that give points. There are cards that give every kind of perk imaginable. Everything from unlimited airport lounge access all the way to free hotel nights at hotels in the Maldives. And everything in between. So, you have to pick the right cards for your own goals, your own lifestyle, your own travel availability, your own income. And that can sometimes be very difficult. So I got to thinking about, well, what are the different types of travelers? Maybe there's a way that we could categorize and be able to simply identify who I am, what my goals are, and what I'd like to accomplish. And as I did so, I realized that I fit into one of these, and most of the people I know, even other creators here on YouTube, many of us, we have different goals, we have different styles. So I've put together 10 different types of card users. And as we go through this today, you might look at them, evaluate them, look at the slides that I'll provide, and be able to determine, well, which one am I? What do I want to get out of this? And that could help you decide which cards are right for you and which ones maybe don't fit your goals, your lifestyles, what you're hoping to accomplish. So if you would, I'd appreciate it immensely if you'd hit the like and subscribe button, and let's look at this together. Now, if you watch YouTubers who talk about credit cards and redemptions and all of the great things we can get from this hobby, it's kind of interesting because after you've seen it for a while, you'll realize that my channel and my emphasis is a little different than some of the other creators, some of them who I adore, who I think are absolutely great, but yet they look at different kind of cards, they rank cards differently, and they have different goals. So if that's true with people who are deep in this, so much so that they even make content about it to help other people, then it's got to be true of everyone who is watching this content and wanting to figure out how can I get the most value if I'm either in the credit card game or if I'm striving to get into the credit card world. And so that's why I decided to put together this list. Now, the list is broken up into 10 different credit card user types, but it's also broken up into several categories. So the first thing I'll mention is I'll tell you the category that I'm going to discuss, and then we'll have either one or two different types of credit card users in each category. Well, let's just start at the beginning. And the first category I have is beginners and simplicity. And I think that very much captures the two different types of card users in this kind of beginning phase of the credit card world. The first one we'll call is simply the rookie. Now, the rookie is the person who is perusing videos on YouTube. They're looking up different card offers because they're wanting to get into this. Now, it may be a person who's building credit. Maybe they're young and they don't have credit under their belt. Or it could be a person who maybe has credit because they bought a home or they have car loans or whatever it may be, but they've just kind of been afraid of credit cards and they're wanting to just get their feet wet. This person is just at the very beginning. And what they're going to value is they're going to value simplicity. And they're also going to kind of want a setup that doesn't have much financial risk. So they're not going to want annual fees, especially not high annual fees. As this person dives in, they're probably not going to start with high credit limits. So they're not going to be spending a lot on their cards. But I think the best way to describe it is they're just wanting to dip their toe in the water. And if that's who you are, that's perfectly fine. Everybody who is into credit cards and trying to get maximum value for their travel, everybody started as a rookie and began at this point. I think the next person in this beginner and simplicity general category is the set it and forget it spender. This is the person who wants Zippo effort when it comes to their credit card setup. They just want cash back. They just want a card that they can use and get something for it. And they don't want to put any thought into it. Maybe this person doesn't really travel and they don't have a lot of interest in travel. Maybe they don't like airplanes. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons for it. But this person just wants to pull a card out of their wallet and they want to get something for their purchases and not have to think about it a lot. They're not going to value annual fees. So this is the kind of person that's really going to value a 2% back cash back type of card that has no annual fee. This is the set it and forget it spender. Now, I don't think these folks probably watch a lot of YouTube in regard to how to maximize their strategy with credit cards because they're pretty set. I mean, one card that gets 2% back. But this is a high volume of credit card users. I have many friends who this is them. I mean, they just pull that one city double cash out of their wallet everywhere they go. And they're just getting their 2% back. And they're thinking they're getting lots of value from their cards. And for their purposes, they are the set it and forget it spender. The next overall category is what I would call low effort travelers. Now, where this is changing a little bit from the previous category is these folks do have some interest in going places. They want to travel here and there, and they want credit cards to make that either possible at all or to help them with that process. So, the first low effort traveler is, we'll simply call them the easy traveler. And this is a person who just wants to get some points, and maybe they're probably going to use the travel portal for their bank sometimes. Maybe they would use some, low effort transfer partners, maybe a U.S. domestic airline or a major hotel chain like Marriott or Hilton or Hyatt. But this person doesn't want to put a lot of effort into it. Maybe they don't travel all that much just for that one vacation a year or whatever it may be. They want a few points to help offset that, but they don't want to make credit cards their hobby. This person's just wanting to get something back for it, but travel is a focus. This person wants decent value, but they're not really interested in optimizing, looking for what's the most I can get on this card as I'm spending at this particular merchant. No, they're not going to think about that a lot. So they're going to limit it probably to one or two cards just to get some value, not to maximize, but to get decent returns and to be able to supplement the travel that they're already doing or would like to do. So this is the easy traveler. The other low effort traveler that I think fits under this general category is what I'll call the premium minimalist. Now, this is a person who probably has pretty high spend. Maybe they're a business owner and they'd like to get something back from that, but they don't want to put a lot of mental effort into it. So this is the person that sometimes those of us who are a little more advanced in this game or really love it as a hobby, we look at them and think, because maybe they pay higher annual fees on their cards, like maybe an Amex Platinum, and they don't get back all of the credits, and they don't care. Maybe they're running a business and they're running thousands and thousands of dollars through that business. They're getting points, and they might even be using those points at 1 cent per point in the portal, but they're using their lounge access sometimes, the few times that they travel every year, and they're perfectly happy with it because their goal is to get some perks, to get some points, and to have a good card in their wallet. But what's fueling their travel really is their high spending, and they're not overly worried about it, and they're not trying to maximize it whatsoever. And there are a lot of people who fit into this category. I have some friends and family who are just like that. I mean, they have cards with high annual fees. They get a few of the perks back. They don't worry all that much about every credit, and they're perfectly happy with it. Now, the next category is what I'll call status and identity. And this category only really has one type of traveler that fits under this designation. And I'll simply call this traveler the flexor. This is the person who uses their credit cards kind of as a lifestyle tool and as a status symbol. This is the person who loves to throw down that black card or that Amex Platinum card at dinner and doesn't care that they're getting 1 point per dollar spent instead of 3 or 4 or 5 that they could get with other cards because the card is impressive. This is the person who is not thinking about the value, they're thinking about another type of value that the card brings to their life. They care about metal cards. They care about nice lounges. You see, for the flexor, it's image driven, and it's less about the math and more about perception. Now, sometimes people might judge this, but the truth is that there's a lot of folks who that matters more to them than the financial side of it. Because, everybody who has the Amex Centurion card would probably fit under this. Because if you look at the card, it doesn't really give you much more than the Platinum card, and it costs $5,000 a year. Why would anybody want that? Well, because there's a certain cachet, there's a certain status that's associated with it. And for some people, that's the goal. And that's the thing that they need to get in their life because they don't need the points, they don't need the money, they already have what they need as far as resources go. They're just needing the image that comes with it. So this person is the flexor. The next general category is what I would call the budget enthusiast. And there's, again, only one type of traveler under this general category. And this is what I'm going to call the budget hacker. The budget hacker loves the game. They love credit cards as a hobby. They love it. But they're not the person who has the resources for high annual spend. So they're not going to be looking so much at the cards that have $500 or $600 or $700 or $900 in annual fees. No, this person is interested in gaming the system with their resources. And so they're going to be looking at low annual fee or no annual fee setups. They might be churning some cards every year to get the points. They're playing this game as a game and they love it, but they're kind of more looking for the extreme budget, extreme value within their resources. And this is, I think, where most of us who have moved up this chart to some of the ones we're going to talk about in a minute, I think we've all been at this place, trying to be the person who gets maximum value, enjoying the game as our resources in our lives expanded. So this is the budget hacker. Now, the next overall category with two different types of travelers is the value-driven traveler. The first value-driven traveler is the value flyer. Now, this person typically travels economy, and they're very interested in maximizing value. They want to get as much from their cards, as many points as humanly possible, so they can take as many trips as they possibly can for the least amount of cost. For this person, practical redemptions kind of overshadow luxury. So if they can have some luxury every now and again, great. But they're looking more for the value, the practical redemptions over staying in the best lounge or perhaps staying in the highest end hotel. No, they'd rather have that lower end hotel and get a great value, spend less of their points so they save more points for future redemptions. Now, the next value-driven traveler is the free travel purist. This is the person whose goal is to make their travel absolutely 100% zero out of pocket. Now, they might be willing to pay some annual fees on their cards in order to make that happen, but when it comes to the actual traveling, they don't want to spend any money. So this person is going to try to maximize value with their points that they get from cards. They might have some cash back cards, and in those cash back cards, they're going to put aside the money that they get back from their spending to use that money for their travel. And this person is playing the credit card game hard because it takes a lot of skill to make your travel, especially those things that don't really code as travel, that you can't really do redemptions with. Things like tolls and things like paying for the entry fee at museums. I mean, to be able to have your credit card system, to be able to pay for that stuff, it takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of planning, but that's their goal. Absolute zero travel, not including maybe annual fees on their card. That's what they want to accomplish. So this is the free travel purist. Now we have one last category, and it also has two types of travelers. And these are what I'll simply call the advanced players. The first one is the churner. Now, the churner is the person who has a high knowledge of the credit card world. They're watching the new best offers that are coming out as far as points that are offered as a sign up, and they're looking at how much spend it takes to get that. They're churning their cards. They're keeping their cards 1 year. When the annual fee comes up, they're even trying to give a retention bonus that's valuable, or they're going to cancel that card, open another card. This is the person who may have 5, 6, 7, 10 or 12 cards per year that they apply for, and they're getting massive points, because everybody knows that a churner, they're going to be able to rack up more points than any other travel style, because they're getting those big sign-up bonuses of 50, 80, 100, 150, and even if they're doing business cards, 200,000 plus on each card that they get. So this person's not as interested in any kind of loyalty with any hotels or with any airlines. They are not a person who is going to fly a specific airline or stay in a specific hotel. They're just trying to rack up the points, use the points, enjoy the points, but it's less about having cards in their wallet that they're going to keep long term, but more about always having new cards in their wallet that are paying them those massive sign-up bonuses. So that's the churner. And the last type of advanced player is what I'm going to call the apex strategist. Now, this person has a setup where they do not mind annual fees. In fact, they intentionally are willing to pay high annual fees for certain cards because they want the benefits. They, yes, will want to maximize values and points. This apex strategist is going to look at what their multipliers are on their spend. They're going to try to maximize that. They're going to carry many more than just one card in their wallet or in their digital wallet, because they're going to be using different, now this is true of some of the others as well, but they're going to be using different multipliers at different places. But they're also looking for cards that give them great hotel stays and great free night certificates. They're looking at cards that may give them status with the airline so that they get upgrades. In other words, this is the person who's doing it all. And the other thing is that this person is willing to put high effort into the credit card game, because they're willing to run spreadsheets to make sure that they're getting back all of their investment in their annual fees through credits and things of that nature. And I think the best description of the apex strategist is all wrapped around that word strategist, because to this person, more than maybe any of the others, it's all a game. It's a game to be won against you and the bank. So this person is looking at it and they enjoy it. They're having fun trying to get the most value, to take the most in return for the investment of their annual fees, and to have it reflected in their lifestyle. Well, those are the 10 different types of travelers under those several categories that I came up with. And I tried to think of pretty much everybody I know and how they travel, all the other creators that I've been able to get to know and to watch and to analyze their travel style. And I really think that most of us fall under one, or maybe we bleed over between a couple of these different types of travel approaches and credit card approaches. So let me know in the comments down below. Is this a comprehensive list? And I really want to know, which type are you? If you had to put yourself in one of these different types of travel strategies, which one are you? And maybe you might also mention which one you'd like to become, what you're aspiring to be if where you are is not where you plan to stay. So let me know. Please consider my channel membership. It's just $2.99 a month for RM Insiders. Now, I will say, on my channel, we really kind of look at the last 3 or 4 on this list, the more advanced strategies. If that's who you are or who you want to be, you might really benefit from some of my members-only videos. It's $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. There's a link below. Also, you can hit the join button. And if you really are either that churner or you are kind of that apex strategist, well then my upgraded channel membership that's called Spreadsheet Warriors might be right for you, because you get all the members only videos of the lower tier, but also we do some live Zoom sessions where we can kind of strategize with other high level players and discuss in real time. And we do those once or twice a month. So you can consider that. That's $19.99 a month. Thank you for watching today. Let me know your comments down below. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.